What's up, y'all? We just had some technical errors over here. I pretty much just shot like 15 minutes of video and something went wrong. So I'm not going to sit here and BS you and then give you some like fake, authentic response. I'm just going to let the video play and I'll respond, but the best takes are gone. They're gone. Like the authentic take is gone. I'll try to remember what I said before and give some uh my opinion on it, but it's frustrating, but it happens. Let's get into it.
On to compete in the first ever enhanced games. I am very, very excited about this, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you why. I am fully retired from traditional forms of swimming. That means USA swimming events, aqua, FINA, sanctioned swimming events, all of those. I have completely closed that chapter of my life, and I've moved on to something else. This is something new, something different, and we'll get into that. Now, I live my life in a very specific kind of way. As a family man, as a husband, as a father of young children, I have three primary objectives in my life.
All right, so first of all, before we get into this, I'm always a big fan of, not a fan where like I watch everything he posts, but the things that I do watch, he's a very impressive speaker. Not eloquent, but I mean, not that eloquent is not what he is, but that's just wasn't the right word. I'd say articulate. He's a very articulate speaker, very clear communicator. So I really enjoy those things. He seems authentic. You know, that plus being a clear communicator is always going to give you some good information in the video. And just the way he presents himself and presents his topics and presents like structured, right? Like he has three main points that he's about to go over. And that's probably going to be the driving engine of his whole video. I really like how he structures and executes his structure in his video. So let's continue.
First and most important thing to me is presence and longevity. And what I mean by that is being present with my loved ones, being present with my children, with my wife, with my friends, and with my family, really being there. My dad was never really present in my life growing up, but I am going to be present with my children. And my father passed away before he hit the age of 60, way, way, way too young. Just a few months before I competed at the Olympic Games. He never saw me get to compete. And so longevity is one of the most important things to me. It's basically number one. I want to be around for my kids. And so when you see a lot of the wild headlines about enhanced and how it's dangerous, I'm here to tell you that's not really the case. This is something that most people don't really understand, and we'll get into that later. But anyone that knows me knows I'm not going to do anything dangerous. I'm not going to do anything that is going to jeopardize my long-term health. Yeah, it's just not it. Like I prioritize my health. And just in the past few weeks, I've had medical screenings.
And even if he was having money to throw at your health issues, like the whatever health issue would pop up, the extra cash from being an enhanced athlete's gonna solve that problem for you. So, it sucks to hear about his dad. I kind of been through a little bit of that myself. Dad provided everything, but went to games and stuff, but never like really took us to practice, like spent time with us like in that regard. So that kind of sucked. But so I can relate with him a little bit on that regard. But yeah, like when I think about like when I start my family, like there's things that like I didn't like growing up that's like I'm all about. Like that's what I want. One is like it's gonna sound funny hearing this, but like a gang mentality. Like I want my kids behaving like they're in a gang with each other, right? Hustling, being entrepreneurs, having each other's backs in a vicious manner, and our family being like that. So, shout out to and to do that you have to be present. So shout out to Cody right there.
Work, all types of analysis. I now have a greater understanding of what's actually happening in my body right now than I ever have before. And we'll get into all that stuff in a long form podcast later on. The second most important objective in my life, again, as a family man, is to be a provider, is to provide for my family. And I'm not gonna ignore the elephant in the room, the thing that a lot of you all are thinking. Enhanced is offering athletes money to be professional athletes that has never been on the table before. I'm just gonna say it, they're paying me a lot of money. I have no shame in saying that. At the enhanced games, there is millions of dollars on the table. You know, you can look up the prize money structure. For one day of swimming, if you win 2 events, that's $500,000. That's never happened before. If you set records, there's more money. You win 2 events and set records, there's $1 million for one day of swimming. I'm proud that athletes in my sport have that opportunity to earn that kind of money, to have those kinds of incentives that professional athletes should have. Me taking part in this event is gonna allow me to do what I love, which is train, race, compete, and also provide for my family in a way that swimming has never given me before. You know, I went to the Olympic Games and won medals and made less than $100,000. I personally think we athletes deserve better than that, and Enhanced is doing that. My third primary life.
I'll say this: as a sport, and I might be wrong here. I don't think we're worth millions of dollars like that. You know, I think that's probably something that's reserved for like the upper, like a Phelps, like a Lochte, the people who have the big personalities and win, right? I think that's reserved for them. You know, some guy, no offense to anybody, who gets a gold medal on like a relay. I'm not really. I think they're being overvalued in this case, but he's right. Like, this is money that's unprecedented, and people. Not that he has. I'm not saying anything about a moral compass at all, but people in general have their prices, right? And I know a lot of people who, like, all right, let's say Cody. Let's just use Cody as an example, right? I'm sure he's had opportunities to cheat and get away with it, and he didn't take them, right? So that would have got him more money at the Olympics, whatever. And so I think his moral code is higher than others when I say this. People can be bought. And I think that the average person who's talking trash to Cody they've done worse, for sure, right? I've had people say things about my business, like, or hey, you shouldn't do this because, and it's like, so basically you're saying I shouldn't tell the truth so I can make $1. Like, so you would not tell the truth so you could make $1. So it's because it makes your business look better. I was like, okay, you're a dishonest person who would trade their standards and morals for money. Gotcha. And I think that there's a lot of people like that. A lot of people. So, and I think he probably has, Cody, I'm talking about, has bigger standards for himself and his own ethical code than most people who are talking shit about him do.
And I don't want this to sound too cheesy, but is to live a life of adventure, is to do things that are memorable, make memories with my loved ones, make memories with my friends, do things that are exciting and sometimes a little scary. That means going to the beach with my wife. That means taking my kids to Disney World. That means going to new parts of the world and exploring. That means climbing mountains, both physically climbing mountains and literally. This is a new mountain. This is a new thing. This is something that I'm excited for. It's cool. People have seen a lot of the negative headlines and they think they.
I think that was complete BS, bullshit cheese. Like, I think really he should have just talked about the money. Like, that's what this is about, bro. Like, let's keep it a buck. I think that and the family. I think the family piece was a little cheese too. But it's about the money, man. Like, it's about the money. Like, let's just keep it a 100% a buck all the way. And get some money. Like, I think more people would be more interested in if people were like, hey, it's about the money. Even though he did. And then you talk about the money. Talk about the advantages. Talk about your teammates and what they have the opportunities to do and change their lives. Right? Talk about what it's like to train with a Ben Proud. Like, they have an amazing training group. Right? I'd say it's, comparable to when I was at UT, right? We had Pearsall on the water, Garrett Weber-Gale, David Walters, Ricky Barons, Eric Chanteau, Brandon Hansen came out of retirement, Jimmy Fegan, Crocker was on deck. Let's see, is that it? Yeah. Right, so that's 8 Olympians who were major champions. Like, not just winners, not people who were successful, like major high-level champions in the sport. And then I get the swim back, right? Ryan Lochte, Tyler Clary, Ariana Vanderpool Wallace, Tim Phillips, Madison Kennedy, Colin Jones, Anthony Irvin every once in a while, Camille Adams, Michael Lawrence. I don't know if I said her. Katie Miley, right? Bronze medalist in the 100 breast, or yeah, the 100 breast, right? So like these collections of talent are extremely rare. So I think it's like, yo, I'm getting paid to be around some of the greatest swimmers of all time. And and I'm getting paid handsomely. Right? I'm getting paid to swim. Like I'm a professional athlete. That's what my purpose is, to get paid to swim. And they're doing it. So I'm going to take the money.
What this is, but they really don't. As someone that is now aboard, I have had conversations with people of all levels of this company, all the way up to Max, the CEO. I'm telling you, this is something completely different. This event is going to be a spectacle the likes nobody has ever seen before. The production company that is organizing this whole thing is Van Wagner. They've put on the Super Bowl for the last 41 years. And as a kid that grew up in Las Vegas, I've always loved the big Vegas show, big spectacle. And the fact that this new thing is taking place at Resorts World Las Vegas on Memorial Day weekend next year, it's just awesome to me. And a big part of this is the athletes will be using performance enhancements, medically supervised as safely as possible. Over the last few weeks, I've had lots of conversations about this.
That's an interesting point, right? So, yeah, I think at this point he's caping for the organization, which is his job, right? You know, you want to make him look as good as possible, especially with, you know, like I even call it cheating, right? Like, even though it's not, but that's just like the socialization of swimming is that if you're doping, you're cheating, whether or not it's you've doing it in a sanctioned way that's legal like they are. Like, that's just how it is, right? It's just how it is in swimming. So, you know, there is a stigma around it that he is going to be marketing for and against.
A lot of you are going to disagree with this, and that's okay. I respect your opinion. All I ask is that you respect my decision as well. The reality is the world is changing.
People don't owe you shit. I think that's something we always need to remember in this world. And he doesn't either, right? And that's the thing, at least I'm going to talk about myself real quick, about me, is I understand that, I say understood early on, like when I was 7 years old. I've told the story a few times. I'm not going to do it right now. But nobody's going to cheer for me, right? By the time they start cheering for me, it's because they deemed it acceptable, not because I was always this good person or good swimmer or good at my job or whatever, right? They're late to the party. So, and the other thing is I'm not playing with you. So when people like try and like punk me or play me or talk to me a certain way that they can get away with other swimmers, it's like, yo, like, nah, I'm going to teach you extremely viciously and make this as painful a lesson as you can possibly learn, that you don't play with people like that. I'm going to humiliate you. So I totally forgot why I brought this up. But yeah, I totally lost the plot on that one. Sorry, guys.
Enhancements is here. The enhanced games is here. And I think it will be cool for us to compare. Here are
Oh, right, because people don't owe you anything. So it's like, I hate when people say that, respect mine, respect yours. Like, people don't owe you anything, dude. Like, this is what I'm going to do, you know, and F what you talking about. My decision, you know, is what matters to me. Maybe my kids and my wife, maybe their decision about me matters to me, but I'm still going to make this. It doesn't matter enough to me to not make this decision. So he don't really care, like, and that's okay. He shouldn't care, because these people are not there to be his friends. They are not nice. They don't deserve to be treated with niceness either.
enhanced athletes, and here are the non-enhanced athletes. This is a new thing. It's a new form of competition. You know, earlier this year, I got into ice racing, ice swimming. That means swimming in a pool where the temperature is below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's really fun, and there's a different set of rules. The water is freezing, there's no diving, there's no flip turns, you can only submerge for a certain amount of time, really no streamlines. It's a different set of rules. I also love watching the World Underwater Aquatics competition.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about when I was saying he's caping for the organization. Like, you don't gotta explain this stuff to people, man. Like, they don't care. They don't care. Like, they think you're a cheater and that's the end of it. They don't see the tactical And I don't even know if the enhanced game is meant to be a tactic against World Aquatics to get people paid. I think they're trying to. I personally think they're trying to take over and become the new World Aquatics, the actual people who are pulling the strings in the enhanced games. And they're using this as the vehicle to show how unfairly paid athletes are. And then when they get in charge, they're probably not going to pay much more, but they'll pay more, I think, because that's what they built their reputation on. But the other thing is these people are actual businessmen, like real businessmen. And for these people to have the level of success in life that they've had, you got to screw some people over. So that's the thing, right? Like, you got to know who you're dealing with. I just talked about this actually yesterday in my Tuesday episode. No, I guess it wasn't yesterday. That would have been 3 days ago. It's Friday. You got to meet people where they are. And sometimes where people are is they're vicious business people. You know, watch your six. But yeah, like you don't need to do all this, dog. Like, people know what it is, unless you just, you actually believe these things and you're saying it because you're saying it. But it sounds like he's trying to convince people that, hey, like, it's not what you think it is, guys. And I don't know why you care, Cody. I really don't know why you care. Why you care? These people, and see, that's where I say these things about me being vicious, because it's like, they were never your fans. I guess that's maybe not a fair thing to say, because people can have their own moral codes that when violated, all of a sudden they're not your fans anymore. But like, you're trying to convince people of something that you really don't care what they think. Like, okay, so let's just say you do this, right, and it gets worse. You're not going to now change your mind and stop doing the enhanced games. Like, you really don't care what they think. So just like say what it is. Tell these people what it is. And that's why we started the Night Swim podcast. Tell people the truth. Like, I don't care what you think. Like, I just had somebody comment to me. They were like, it's getting weird between your comments on Reddit, which I don't think I went in there to defend myself because people were talking shit, and then I haven't responded since. And then here, which I don't even know what she was talking about. This person, like, they know me. And, I hit her with some questions to just show her I know that she's full of shit. But, like, I don't care what this... I don't know. I was going to block her, which I think I probably still can, because the post is on my page. It's not on... No, it is on the Night Swim page. So that's why I haven't blocked her, because all engagement's good engagement. Especially when it's just people being stupid, right? Not necessarily because we're selling out, which is, in my opinion, not good engagement. But, like, I don't like these people either. They don't like me. I don't even know who you are. And what makes you think that you talking shit about me is going to make me change my mind? Like, get out of here.
Where people wear monofins, the mermaid tails, and they race 50 and 100-meter distances underwater. Did you know that's a league? There's a world championship of that. I did. I think it's cool. I think it's cool to watch people do those crazy things and then compare how fast they go to how fast someone can regularly swim. It's a different set of rules. Enhanced games is a different thing.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys can see he's really trying to, like, convince people that it's okay, which I'm not saying it is or isn't. I think that I wouldn't join the enhanced games, but I respect it for show. If I had all my medals and stuff, if I got a bunch of Olympic medals and I'm done, I would join 100%, like, without a doubt.
A different new set of rules. Now, at the end of the day, for me, the reason that I am proud of this decision is because the most important things in my life, longevity, providing for my family, and doing things that are exciting, fun, and living a life of adventure. This decision checks all of those boxes. And I am very open and welcome conversations with anybody about this. Again, I will have a full long-form podcast soon discussing.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and stop there. It's pretty much over. Shout out to Cody. Like, I really like his videos. I like the way he presents himself and talks about things. Let's see what we got in these comments. Not gonna lie, I was seeing it coming. I think that's fair. Oh, actually, so me and Elvis talked about this, right? We were talking about, like, there's a tier 1 athletes, right, who probably never, your Gretchens, your Dressels, Sarah Soystrom, your Maggie McNeils, like those people, those tier one athletes who are the big names who you'd have to really shell out some shekels for, right? And he was like, your tier two athletes are kind of like the no-name people from maybe other countries who are, other outside the U.S., right? Because we're always talking about the champions. So I'm just playing, not really, but from other countries who are kind of no names. And I was like, no, I was like, your tier two athletes are your retired like champions. Cesar Cielo, I think it's only a matter of time, especially since him and, I said in our podcast, I was like, him and Brett are boys. It's only a matter of time. And your tier two athletes, these guys who are retired, who are still fast and training or whatever, like I think we're going to see a lot more of them. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot more of them. I think we need to put a lot more money in clean swimming. Also, it is funny. It's not funny because people are finicky and don't ever see the plot right away. They let their emotions take over. So this is an easy way to step your life up, is don't be emotional. When, people are trying to present information to you, how much people are changing. How much people's opinions are changing about this, right? Like, I think we need to put more money in clean swimming. But yeah. Duh. But it's like things like that. It's like this only is happening because WA is messing up and not paying their athletes. And I remember everything when, the first stuff about the enhanced games dropped. I think I was probably the only one saying like, yo, like this is a great thing for the sport. I said that, and nobody wants to talk shit to me because they know how I get down. But yeah, I was like the only one on their side. So shout out to the enhanced games. But yeah, let's see. I was hoping you'd move into broadcasting with Rowdy. Oh my God. I'm not even going to comment on that. I get the money reason, but this is still the death of a legend. He's still Cody Miller. Like, he's not gonna throw a third eye like the Hills Have Eyes, and all of a sudden he's not the same person. I don't get the Happy Gilmore reference. Are we serious? Very serious. How do you? This Ray who's been here for the last 10 years. Is there a reply? Ray ain't paying his bills, dog. This guy commented the same thing. I think I know who this is. These are people, you just gotta tell them shut up. Like, ruined swimming and should not be a thing. So this is like the thing I said about positivity in my Wednesday post, is why are you not saying the enhanced games, like where is it? Somebody said up here, more money in clean swimming. Like, why is this not your comment? Why is this your comment? Yeah, maybe it is, but it's only doing that because there's some greedy, selfish people not paying their athletes. This is disappointing. There's a reason why performance-enhancing drugs are banned. It's not about an anti-product, it's about fairness, health, and integrity of sport. See, I hate this stuff. Is so stupid. There's a reason why performance-enhancing substances are banned. It's not about fairness, health, or it's about fairness, health, and the integrity of sport. So, Cody, this is the person you made your video for. But the thing is, like, they're not going to change their mind. They don't care. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you definitely alleviated every problem he has, but they don't care. Kevin Jizzlart, crazy name. Jizzle. Chasing more money, faster time, and content, more cannot be the only values we promote. Sport should stand for human performance, not chemical optimization. If everything becomes acceptable as long as generations we lose something essential, not everything that's possible should be done. I'll agree with that. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should buy it, but you're missing. These people are so emotional. I don't mean emotional. They're in their feelings. I think feelings are completely different. Feelings is like your gut reaction, your instincts. Your feelings are your instincts. Emotions are something else. But hey, I'm doing this for my family. Oh, this is so disappointing. Like, what's wrong with you? Chasing more money, faster times, constant, more are the only values we promote. Well, when you can't afford to pay your hospital bill because your kid has sepsis or something, is more a bad thing then? So people are, I'm getting a little worked up about this. People are jokes, bro. Like, and this is why I say, like, why are you taking this serious, Cody? Like, talk about the money, talk about what you're getting paid or not, but, it's personal. Talk about the people you're learning from, what you're learning about swimming, what you're learning about preparation that you didn't know before, being around these other athletes. And, I'm sure they got their own different philosophies about preparation. Because you're not going to reach these people. They don't care. They want to feel what they want to feel, dude. If everything becomes acceptable as long as it generates attention or profit, we lose something essential. You probably have a kid who runs around saying the 6'7" meme. Do you know what that is a reference to? 6 feet deep, 7 feet long. Okay, it's about killing people. It's about the measurement. That's the measurements for a casket going into, or a coffin burial. Just say burial, coffin burial. Okay, your kid's running around talking about death. That's what he's saying every time you hear that 6'7" bullshit. And we can really get into the spiritual side of it too, with a pagan gods and all that stuff for child sacrifice. But we're not going to go that way. So if you got a kid running around saying 6'7", but and you let that happen, but then you're on here saying as long as they did shit and intimidate their problem, we lose something essential. Like, grow up. Yeah, I like the rest of these comments. Yeah, I like these second comments a lot. This is cool. Yeah, shout out. Yeah, dude, you got a good audience, dude. Shout out to you, Cody. Yeah, shout out to you, man. That's a really good audience response. There's some people tripping in there, but that's a really positive audience. Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, guys, so that's the Cody Miller video. I'll put the video link below so you can go check it out for yourself. Make sure I put them in the title or whatever. I don't know how successful the enhanced games is going to be in putting pressure on world swimming. It's going to take a boycott, honestly. I think a boycott plus the enhance is probably the best thing. Like, that would really mess it up. But the thing is, right, like, I'm sure there's, I'm not going to say that. If I was running the World Aquatics, I would have an agreement with all my fast athletes to pay them a little bit more, or give them some under the table money just so they don't organize, right? Because it's going to be when your Gretchens, your Cams, and you got to know and understand the game, really. These people have no idea what they're doing. They're just, grown up, born on third, thought they hit a triple, silver spoon type shit. And like, you would have to do this like the week before World Champs or the week before the Olympics. And then you'd have to be willing to stand on business and not go to the meet. And like, that's what it would take. Like, they need to know, like, you need to be willing to go further than the World Aquatics is. And I'd say maybe even the governing bodies need to as well. Or show their support to the athletes as they stand up for themselves. Because you're not going to get any money out of them. Like, a retired athlete going to the enhanced games, it's good. It shows more pressure. Every athlete who joins puts more pressure on World Aquatics. Every athlete of significant recognition puts more pressure. But if you really want to shake things up, like, enhanced games has got to figure out how to get the big dogs. Right? And personally, I say you go for people who talk shit about it. So like Sarah Shoystrom. All right, I said that on our Night Swim podcast. You got to get Sarah. Like, that's the big fish. You get her, the game is going to change overnight. I'm not saying you're going to get what you want, but it's going to be taken way more seriously. Way more. Getting a top dog like that to be serious about getting paid. The last thing they want to see is another top dog. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, shout out to Cody. Let me know what you think about Cody joining. You think he's doing the right thing? Do you think he's selling out? Do you think he shouldn't be trying to convince people who he doesn't care about and don't care about him that why this is the right move? I'd say don't waste your breath, bro. These people don't care. But let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Help us beat this algorithm so we can get this good swim entertainment to the masses, get this good information to the masses. Thank you for hanging out with me, guys, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.